Hey everybody, welcome to another Sunday Night Live. As you can see, Mr. Dwayne is here to co-host with me, as usual.
Hey, fellas and ladies.
And tonight's topic is attitudes. And it's not just for reselling, it's for the life affects us all. So, before we get into the topic, what have you been up to, Dwayne?
I was going to remind you about the links in below, so don't forget.
Well, you just reminded me, and you reminded everybody that watches. So
exactly. So that's why I did it. No. How's everybody doing? I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. I went out of town for a day just to get away from the city here and look at the Milky Way and shoot higher powered weapons and fish and just try to decompress, get away from the hubbub for a while with my family, and had a really good time. I hope you all are having a good time, and thanks for showing up to watch us babble about what we babble about instead of watching The Walking Dead. How about you, Chris?
well, I've been playing poker a little bit more. I didn't stay home and watch the debate when we didn't have the show. I went out and actually tried playing again.
Yeah.
And then I went out again Saturday night, and I got knocked out early again within an hour. Well, that's part of what I want to talk about tonight is because of the way they run things there. Attitude also affects life.
Oh, absolutely. Attitude is life.
Exactly. So that's what I was saying. There's a lot, like we were talking about some of the posts that were in the group and stuff like that kind of hit me in certain ways. And then when I either did my moderating job or I just said something as a member of the group, I got not necessarily attacked, but in other words, got jumped on by certain people. And I just wonder if they're acting like this in a group of resellers that is supposed to be about learning and whatnot. What's that say to me as a potential customer to this person?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, and it follows you everywhere. Your attitude, I think it rubs off on people as you just, deal with them. And like you said, you don't know if you're going to be buying from that guy next week or, as much as the world is fluid, it's your attitude towards people. It's going to bite you in the butt. To me, it's karma. If you're nice and you do your best, and everybody does that, it'll come around and everybody's going to, it'll be a much happier place. Let's just put it that way. So.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. I was reading the chat. Sorry. I saw my name. What? Sorry, Sharking Mom Deals. My wife probably wouldn't really have liked that. I thrown another woman in there, but hey, next time I'll try. I'll ask. So anyway, let's go, Chris.
Well, we were just getting into it. Attitude is, whether it be for a customer or not, out in the real world affects you in every way. So you should cover. And I said I was going to give the wife credit for this. So I was saying that she always tells me when I start getting either slacking off of what I believe in or in myself, confidence-wise, to start wearing the jacket and owning it to how you want people to perceive you. Because eventually, if you wear it enough and you start believing in it, it'll start coming true. And then if you're right for the business or in person, and you're not always negative, and you don't have to always be positive either. It's just own up to what you're, and don't necessarily slack off, but treat your customers as best as you can, because you're not going to want somebody to treat you the way you get treated. Even if it's an accident, go back to that person and say, I'm sorry I acted this way. I am not normally this way. They may not believe it, but at least you're doing what's best for business by trying to be honest and say, I had a bad day. Or
right. And I have a perfect example. Today I had a return on 2 of those IP cameras that I've been talking about last couple of weeks that everybody buys them and then realizes they don't fit in their system or something. And I've had quite a few returns. Well, I got a return today. A guy was kind of upset. I mean, it wasn't my fault because I guess it wasn't compatible with his system, and he was a little upset with me that, and I accidentally, but it kind of worked in my favor. I ended up paying shipping back for that return, even though I really didn't mean to, because it was just, he didn't buy the correct camera. It wasn't nothing wrong with the camera or anything about my service. Is that he just didn't buy the right camera. But I ended up paying that. After the fact, I realized I did. And, you know, it was only $12, so I really wasn't upset. But after, you know, after I refunded his money, or actually after eBay refunded it, because I do automatic refunds and everything, automatic returns. I went back and I just put a little note. You know, I typed back to the guy and said, thank you. I received the units back. They were in great shape. I've already refunded your money. And, you know, he emailed back and he's like, you know, thank you. It was very nice of you to let me know that everything went smoothly and that it was all done. And I thought, you know, and it was just a small one-line sentence just saying, you know, hey, thanks for not being a jerk and destroying the equipment before you send it back, you know, or anything like that. I didn't say that, but of course, that's kind of what my thought was, is a lot of times when you get returns, you know, if the person's upset with you, it may not come back quite as nice as when it was sent to them. And I just did that one line, said, hey, thank you. And, you know, it turned everything around. I don't know if he's given me feedback yet about it. You know, I felt that I dealt with him the best way I could. Nobody feelings got hurt. Everything was very social. I mean, it was very, you know, easygoing. And unfortunately, this purchase and me buying or me selling and him buying just didn't work out, but no harm done. So I really feel that he would probably buy from me again if I had something that he would need.
And that sometimes you do something like that, he may not buy for a while, but he also might have favored you. So next time when you're putting things up, he'll see what you're putting up first and be like, I want to buy from him again just because of the way he treated me.
Right. Yeah. He took care of the problem. Whosever problem it was, it didn't really matter. It was solved amicably. You know, nobody was unhappy. So, should we do some call outs?
Sure, go ahead.
Sure. Oh, sure, go ahead. Listen to you. All right, I'm going to start at the top. So, of course, you know, our number one fan. I'm gonna call him our number one fan, Henry. He's always like the first person, you know, several hours before we start. He's already commenting. So let's see. We got Berta Bell, Chris, Northeast Picker. How are you doing? Come down a little bit further. Going on Grumpy. That's Barbara, if I'm not mistaken. Let me scroll a little more. I'm a little slow today. Sorry. Turtle Trader. How are you? Of course, we see you here a lot. Mr. Sadie, Hellfire, and all that good stuff. Bubba. So, keep going down. Gail Richardson.
Got Mike and Tanya are in here.
Oh, so you're starting at the bottom. You're cheating.
I'm
Linnell, how are you? I know, I'm good. We meet in the middle, takes spare some time. So,
Joni,
Chad kind of poked in. I don't know if he's back. He did some advertising for our nemesis, The Walking Dead. You know, he had to come in and say that it was premiering tonight, trying to steal all our viewers or something. I'm just kidding, Chad. You know, I'm just teasing. So,
Joni
Walking Dead anyway.
Will Resell has shown up.
Sweet.
So,
Angie, saw her come in. By the way, that our last show that we did with Angie and Chad, I thought was really, really good. Those were two real, I was going to say vintage pickers, but I don't want to make it sound like they're old. More that they've done it for quite a while is what I was trying to get at. And I think we learned a lot from them, and I was very happy that they could come on. I appreciated it a lot. Shirking Mom Deals. Say again?
I said I was gonna have I had a good time too, and I realized Chad was joking around, playing around a little bit with the signage and stuff like that. But it's that time of the year, and I wasn't going to, as long as nothing really jumped off, I wasn't gonna.
Well, and he wasn't pushing his politics. It was just, politics is in the air. Unfortunately, it usually makes enemies out of best friends. I put several posts on my Facebook. I can't wait for the election to go away so I can get my friends back, because it just it really polarizes a lot of people. And he wasn't pushing any issues or anything. He wasn't trying to force it upon us. He was just teasingly throwing out his opinion.
Well, I know that I'm going to say this. It's one of certain topics or not necessarily topics, just certain people we have on or topics, depending, seem to draw in the viewership, because in the last week since that show, we've had over 600 views.
Oh, I know. Well, yeah. I mean, you deal with you work with rock stars. I mean, some of it's gonna, rub off onto you. I mean, we had Angie and Chad, those two, man. Yeah, we see, it was good for our show to just have them on, on top of what we learned from them, just the notoriety. it was a win-win. So,
well, so let's get back to a little bit to the topic, so that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't want to bore them back about last week and get them to go back to last week. We want to watch this week.
I know. I'm just starstruck,
Well, like I said, we were saying, attitude can affect in business whether you're selling or not, and how you carry yourself in these groups. Because I'm not talking about just Resale Society. You got the Gilmonies. You got Tanya's group. You got Road to Debbie's groups. Any group that is out there, if you're not carrying yourself as a business person, even if it's Facebook, you may think of it just being normal Facebook, but you're in a group for business. You should act and carry yourself like a business person to the best of your ability, because there's times that, yes, you may get personal to a point, but there are others that seem to go to their Facebook pages and try finding something to start a fight with. That has nothing to do with the topic. It's like they go personal. That's not business.
Right. And not everybody can be business-like at all times, but just having a positive attitude, and I shouldn't be the one, I have a hard time with attitudes sometimes. I kind of get in slumps, and it spills over into my personality, and I can kind of be a pain in the butt sometimes, but I try very hard when I'm in a situation with people, public, my family, everybody, to try and be pleasant, because it doesn't, even the worst situations can 9 times out of 10 be diffused just by having a good attitude. Even if you're right in certain circumstances, if you just say, I believe this is the way it is, I'm not positive, and you leave yourself an out and you leave them a way to give a little too, if you say I am right, then of course they're going to say I am right, and and that just causes conflict. But if you can leave yourself away for them to graciously be a little bit wishy-washy too, well, I think I'm right, I'm pretty sure, but I'm not sure, but let's deal with it this way. Just that type of attitude can so easily make a bad situation workable.
I have to say this because this is a shock to me, considering the 49ers are not playing tonight. Because Sean Kultos is in the chat.
No.
Yes.
Sean. Oh, hold on just one second.
The original co-host to the R show that was on Sundays.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Wayne's up to something if he's doing... trying to get something to show Sean or something.
Yeah, no, I was gonna get my tribute hat, my troll hat like he always wears. Except mine's cooler because it's the Broncos. Hey, Sean, how are you? I've been seeing you've been doing some reselling and getting back into the swing of things. Welcome back. That's all I got to say. And you can never get away from it 100%. It always pulls you back in if you've got the bug. Sorry to say. So anyway, yeah. What do people in the chat think about, having their, your attitude? How many times has your attitude changed a situation that could have been, horrible or, detrimental to your business? And just because of the way you treated it and the way your attitude, that it turned out okay. How about you, Chris? Has that happened in your reselling recently?
Not recently. I mean, I've tried. Everybody knows that I have 100 and something things up. I'm not getting nobody to sales, but we're still working on listing things. So everybody's having that issue.
Yeah, everybody does.
So
sure.
that's why when I do most of these shows, it's like I talk about when we do this show specifically, it's more about the group stuff. So when I try stepping in, I consider the moderating as one of my quote unquote jobs, even though I don't get paid for it. I want to do it. So
right.
When I'm trying to educate someone there and they start trying to say that I'm wrong, part of me wants to fight back to the point where I have to look at the wife and I say, okay, I'm done dealing with this person. And I tell her where the post is, and then I let her try coming in because I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to kick them because I'm angry. So I let everybody else know what's going on, and I say, deal with them. And then sometimes I get told, why didn't you kick them anyway? And it's like, I like giving people the benefit of the doubt, so that way they can prove me wrong in the way they're carrying themselves at this time. Because, like I said, they may have had that bad day. Now, if they do it,
we all have bad days, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I'm saying if they stay jumping on me more than once, okay, that becomes a pattern. That means they're not changing. They're not even trying to, at least, like I said, the one guy I told you before the show actually made a comment saying he didn't want me even commenting on his post. And I'm an admin of the group. So what if I got tagged on that post for whatever it had to do with him or not? Am I not supposed to comment? So right. I said, as an admin of the group and a member of the group, I have the right to comment. Whereas right. An admin, I definitely have a right because if there's something that needs to be taken care of, that's part of my job.
Right. Absolutely. And, my wife always has a saying a lot of times because, she's my wife. So it's, what does she always say? Oh, you can either be right or happy. So you can either be one or the other. If you're right, if you're right and it's a tense situation, you may not be happy. It may just cause conflict, or you can be middle of the road, mediocre, and be happy. You understand what I'm saying? It's kind of a weird way of what I'm trying to say is not coming out too clear. But basically, a lot of times, sure, you can be right, but you're going to upset the person in the process. And in the end, all you get is the satisfaction of being right and they're upset. Or you can not demand that you're right and everybody can just be happy. So, and just like in the I just read in the chat here, Turtle Trader said everyone needs some TLC. You diffuse it because it's not you, it's something else in their life that may be causing their attitude, and to pick your battles. Because a lot of times, does it really matter if you're right? No. I mean, you can say you're right, but in the long run, it's the attitude of how you present yourself is much more of an impact on a person than what you say, or how you say it versus what you say. And I believe, like we said, attitude is your whole life. It's not just a business. It's not this. If you walk around, glum, like Eeyore the donkey from Winnie the Pooh, you're always going to feel that way. You're always going to feel crappy or blue or whatever. Whereas if you are much more upbeat and take life by the horns and just, hey, this is a great day, you feel better all around. At least that's the way I feel.
And that's why I said, in my case, sometimes the wife has to start telling me own it. And that may sound strange to people, especially when because some people are like, own what? You have to own yourself. You have to believe in yourself, have the positivity to do what you want to do. That's why I say we are having problems, but we haven't given up. We're still listening. We're still doing what we need, what we are trying to tell everybody else to do on these shows. So it's not like I'm just promoting it and saying, okay, do as I do, say, not as I do. I'm doing it too, to the best of my ability. And yes, Sean, that's one of your old sayings. You used to say, do as I say, not as I do.
Right. Oh, and Joni Kramer brings up the 4 agreements. That is an actual it's a book, by the way, by I think Don Luis Castaneda. I think that's who wrote it. I'm sorry if I get that wrong, but that really is a great book, and it really is just on, taking charge of yourself and owning up to what you are and what you've been given. It's a great book. There you go, Don Miguel Ruiz, not Castaneda. So, but yeah, those that is a great book on just becoming the better you. So,
when I brought this topic up and I asked you what your topic was, since we're getting close to the half-hour areas, I figured we might start tying your topic in, because you said it would fit perfectly into what I'm talking about. Because you have an attitude as the seller, and you may have an attitude as a buyer. So, what is your topic?
As I was going through, I was looking through some of the groups, and a common theme seems to pop up a lot, and that is blocking people, blocking buyers, or blocking sellers, or blocking people in their Facebook or whatever. And I was more, I'm going to speak more to the blocking as a buyer or a seller than on Facebook, because Facebook to me is more of a social and an opinion based platform where, there's going to be more drama, I think, in Facebook than buying and selling platforms. But I personally have never blocked anyone. And it's not because I haven't been upset with people, because I have, but I also think, just like we've been talking about, are they just having a bad day? Are they truly, are they trying to scam me? Or I personally believe that 99.995% of the people out there are not scammers. You'll get a couple, sure. I mean, especially as much as, us as resellers, as many transactions as we do through eBay, you will come across some. But I really believe that people think that people are scamming them way more than they actually are. I'm not saying that the people aren't trying to get the best deal or make sure that their butt's covered as well, because I think that's what a lot of people do. But I have never blocked a buyer or a seller, because in the long run, if you talk it out, and if they're not truly a scammer, or somebody that's just trying to get over or something like that, it can all be talked out. The only time, like I had told Chris before the show, the only time I really think that I would block somebody is if their attitude is to the point where it's going to cause detriment to my business, that they're actually going to do something to, hurt my business. However, if they have a friend buy something just to give negative feedback, or, that'd be the only time. Just because me and this person have a disagreement, they're allowed their opinion as much as me. And I don't feel that people are going to attack me. And that's just me. I've never personally been attacked on eBay or Amazon or anything like that. So until I am, at that time, my attitude may change. But right now, I look for the good in people, and I hope that everybody else does, because I think it makes it a lot easier to deal with people. That's just me. What about you, Chris? I mean, have you blocked people?
I've only blocked one person. I think I might have even unblocked him after a while. I don't even remember. That's how I don't even really know how to find where your block list is. Now I'm not really going to try finding it because the one time I needed it, I used it. If I already undid it, I undid it. If not, oh well. But what they did was they told me that they still wanted the item, but yet they weren't going to have a hard time paying or something to that effect because their account was hacked. So they were trying to deal with eBay. I figured, why tell me that you were hacked? Why not just deal with eBay and pay me within the time that I had? Because I don't think I was even using the unpaid item automatic yet. So when they say, as soon as they said they were hacked, I was like, okay, there's a possible issue. And once they said they were hacked, I wasn't going to risk having my account hacked. That's why I said, that's the only reason I blocked.
Sure.
You never know how somebody can get into things. Just the other day, Roxy found out that our phone has been hacked, at least one app. Because when she goes to text people, or certain times, all of a sudden, what she's typing will get erased and say, "Please try again." So she was typing. Sent the wife, the daughter, a text the other day saying, "I think my phone was hacked," and that's phone. She said, "I think we've been hacked," and then she was typing the phone. It got erased, and then somebody typed in "laugh out loud," erased it, then had it say "please try again."
Oh wow, that is weird. Yeah, that's weird. I've never heard of that. Let's go to. Oh, okay. So Coco showed up, and she just said that she expressed her opinion on Facebook on a block issue, and people got crazy. Why don't you type in a little bit more about that, Coco? Because I'm interested. I didn't see that post. And what was your side? I mean, what was your pro or con? It looks like Joni says that she's the only one I saw that said that she blocks when people get threatening. And that's quite understandable. I guess for me, it's hard to tell whether threatening in what way. I mean, personally threatening, of course, yeah, that could definitely be an issue. But with now, even when they threaten to, I mean, if they're threatening to do something to your business, yes. Like I said, that's the one time that I would block somebody. But nowadays, it's so difficult especially if you're reading that, then eBay is going to be able to read that as well. And they do cover, I know this is a whole nother show, that I believe that eBay does look out for their sellers much more than they used to. It used to be a complete buyer's market, but I think they are catching up and realizing that as long as sellers try and take care of their people, that they should be taken care of as well. So I think they've really done a pretty good job of that, and they're working on it. But
well,
let's see.
Adam Smith said that he's blocked only one person, and the butthole had left negative feedback unjustly. Well, now see, why block them just because you got one negative feedback? Unless it was your last one putting you in a negative or something like that. Next time, deal with if he comes back, then you can deal with blocking him or something like that when he tries to buy from you again. If you didn't deal with the issue, because you may feel it was unjustly, but depending on not knowing what the issue is, if it's something that others might have not given you a negative for, how are you going to work on it? I don't know if that makes sense.
I think so. I think I understand what you're saying. Is that basically how do we know that it was? Or yeah, I can't explain it any better than you. I think you made it sense to me.
Always hold it work on your business. Well, how are you supposed to work on anything if you don't know what's wrong? So if they're giving you a negative, how can you honestly say it's unjustly unless it is flat out unjustly? So we don't know the whole story that Alvin's saying. So I'm trying to be the devil's advocate. I'm not saying the buyer's right. I'm not saying Alvin's right.
Sure.
I'm just saying in general, because what if the next item somebody else doesn't give them negative, but doesn't like it because of the same reason that the other person gave a negative?
Right. Well, and the other thing is this is all personal opinion for me. I mean, I'm not judging anybody. If they want to block every single person that comes across that they don't like, that is perfectly fine with me. And I don't feel that it's anybody's place to say you're doing it wrong. I'm just saying the way I do it is I just look for the better in people. If like further on, going on Grumpy says, I block. I don't have the mental energy to waste on idiots. And I completely agree. There are some times it's just like, you know what? I just want this person to go away. I mean, they're not horrible. They're not great. It's just, I don't want to have to deal with it. And I have thought about blocking people at that point, but then I just let them go. You know, I don't deal with them. That's just not the way I don't block them. I just quit dealing with them at that time. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure everybody in the chat knows I'm not saying that if you block people, you're doing it wrong, because that is not, you know, that is a personal opinion. If you don't want to have to deal with people like that, that's exactly right. I know
there are other groups that strictly don't want you talking about blocking buyers either. They just, once you bring it up, that either comment or that trade or that post is gone, because they want to have positive feedback from buyers.
And it's exactly like we were saying. It's back to that positive energy, positive attitude. You know, you just leave the negativity out of it, and it always is a much better position, especially in a Facebook group where to me, Facebook is much more opinion. You know, it's my opinion. Whatever, all my memes or whatever are my opinion and my opinion only. They're not typically business related. Move along. These are not the customers you want. Okay. Turtle Trader says, yeah, move along. These are not the customers you want. And again, that's exactly right. I just would be worried that at some point I would be blocking somebody for a reason that I thought was just, but in the long run, I may miss out on business somewhere down the road. And that's just the way I think about it.
Exactly. So. That's why when some people say I'm blocking, somebody else says, well, then go ahead, block that person, because that means more business for me.
Sure.
Because
yeah.
You give good feedback or good business, you're gonna get good voice, word of mouth, and somebody else is gonna buy because of their friend, or the feedback itself is gonna give them a sale. So if they all of a sudden get blocked and they're like telling their wife, who tells their best friend, my husband got blocked, or my wife, whoever got blocked on eBay from this seller, even though here's the kicker, they may say blocked on eBay. They may not say the seller's name. So we're in a roundabout way, it hurts eBay, which hurts everybody, because maybe that seller buyer won't come back at all.
Right. So exactly. It does. It does affect the entire platform when there's bad customer service. It does. I believe it affects everybody in the platform just to a small amount. I mean, if the same person buys 5 things on eBay and every time they get screwed over by that seller, different sellers, at some point they're just going to say, you know what, I'm not going to buy on eBay anymore. Forget it. It's not worth the hassle. One thing Debbie Beshan said is, I have seen where someone takes returns. Then when someone wants to return that item, they want to block them. If you take returns, it's the price of doing business. Take it and move on. Then she says she's with Coco. Exactly. You know, and again, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, before I give another shout out for somebody else that's in the chat and made a comment, Alan came back and responded to asking him when I was talking about him blocking that person. He said he tried to fix the problem after negative feedback left 36 days after sale. I made attempts to fix and they quit communicating. So he at least attempted before he blocked. So I can't fault for what he's saying. If he's saying it's unjustly, now he tried to fix it, so it was on the buyer to not work with the seller at that time. So I can't blame him. But
yeah,
surprise, surprise, Louis, the seller, is also in the chat tonight.
You know, I was just reading his comment, and he made a very good point. You know, he says he doesn't block unless it gets personal. He will deal with anybody that keeps it professional. Name calling and insults get you blocked after I refund if need be. And that makes complete sense. You know, when it starts getting personal, yeah, that's when all business is thrown out the window. It's just a pissing contest after that, and I can completely understand that. I've just never had that. I've never gotten to that point. Luckily, all the people that have bought from me have been upfront people, as far as I can tell. If not, they were really bad at being scammers, because I don't feel I ever got scammed. So, Let's see. Will Resell says, have you come across sellers that just shortcut every listing and not describe their item as they are, but yet complain about bad feedback? You know what I'm trying to say. I think what you're trying to say is from a seller that does the absolute least in their listing to sell something, and then when it doesn't sell, or when they get bad feedback because they did a poor job of describing it, then they're upset. I believe there are people out there like that, quite a few, that they can't see past their nose and don't understand what they're doing wrong, or they're doing the bare minimum and expecting everything to be top notch on the backside, and it just doesn't work that way.
Exactly. That's part of the attitude. Like you said before the show, you said how certain people just like to be lazy. That's their attitude. They want to just do the least amount of work to get the most out of it, and they're not going to get much. So, but yet when they complain, who do they come to? The ones that are doing the more of the work and saying, put more into it. And then
right, yeah, exactly. And 9 times out of 10, if you bring that to somebody in the groups, many groups that I'm in, you're going to get the same thing. Is what can you do to be better? Did you do a bad job? And they're going to help you to fix that problem, even if you don't want to hear it, because it's probably something you're not doing right. And sometimes you're going to get bad feedback no matter what, but other times, like you say, you just got to suck it up. Sometimes it's you, and you've got to fix something in your business that's causing this problem, whatever it may be. So, wow. All right.
Well, I see we had over 45 viewers tonight so far. So,
oh my goodness, that's great.
If you guys like what we've been talking about and have a question or anything else pertaining to these two topics, bring them on, and we'll do our best to give you our opinions. We're not saying
absolutely.
We're not saying we're wrong, but that's up to you to decide.
Yeah, this is just a pure opinion show. From one or from two resellers to everybody else in the chat, and I do these type of questions. Actually, Chris does them most of the time. But when I ask a question, I'm more looking to how other people deal with it. Like the blocking issue. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just wondering how other people, have dealt with the blocking. The other thing is, I don't know if I've ever been blocked. I don't know if I would know. Since I've never dealt with blocking or not blocking, does a thing came up and say you've been blocked by blah and so, or?
Well, I guess when you go to buy something, if you've been blocked from that seller, you won't be able to buy. You just flat out can't buy from them. So then you have to send them a message and say, why was I blocked? Why can't I buy from you? It may be because you have your thing set where 2 negative in a month, a negative unpaid item strikes, and you can't buy it. Then they send a message say, you're in that, I'm protecting my business. You have 2 unpaid items in the last month or whatever amount of time frame that they do for that. Mm-hmm. And there you go. And you say, or you could just say, well, some people just buy it. I didn't like the way your question came across, and then that's where that's the attitude where you're going to start a problem, because the buyer's going to be like, well, just because I asked the question, why am I having the problem? Why can't I buy from the seller? I want this stuff. His stuff is good. Well, as a buyer, start thinking like, don't always attack or figure ways to ask questions that people can answer without feeling like they're especially if their answers in the description. Read the descriptions. If you're on your phone, go to the full description.
You know what, Chris? You're asking the impossible. Because 9 times out of 10, if the people would read the description, they'd already know the answer to most of their questions. Mr. Sadie, this is the second time he's posted it, and I was going to say it before, but I forgot. And this is a great way to deal with people. He says he starts every return request with, I'm very sorry, and, for the issue, friend. And when you come across like that, people will listen to what you have to say. I think I said it in a show earlier. If you ask for help from somebody in fixing a problem that even has to do with them, if you're asking for help, a lot of people, that just turns off their anger and they go into help mode. Okay, I'm sorry that I sent this to you. What could I have done better? And they could say, well, it wasn't that bad. I just saw this. Or, they start working with you. Asking for help on a situation where even if you're completely wrong can definitely diffuse it. But like I said, I really like Mr. Sadie starting out saying, you know, I'm very sorry, and not coming across as, you know, hey, jerk, you know, I don't want this. You know, you come across, hey, I'm here to help you. What can I do to help you? I'm very sorry this happened. And I actually do the same thing on any return. I'm very sorry you're dissatisfied with your purchase or with the camera, or I'm sorry it wasn't the correct camera that you wanted, or whatever it is. And just really at the very beginning, start out putting them at ease, and then, you know, then slowly bring in, you know, whatever the problem is, and see if you can't work it out. So yeah, right, Angie. That's what I figured it would be too. Is, hey, Bubba, I'll refund you. Sorry. That's what I figured Sadie's would be.
Okay, you have a question here from the Rush.
Oh, yes.
Speaker?
Yeah. He or she, I don't know who this person is. So said that they have a question, which was probably easy to answer. They added a note to buyer when I printed the shipping label. Now that note pops up on every label I try and print. How do I get rid of it? Are you talking about the invoice? I believe that's what you're talking to.
I think he's talking about when he prints out. Yeah, I think it's when the packing slip.
Yeah, the packing slip.
Put a note on for the buyer, like, thank you for buying. So, thank you, so and so. You might put their real name. Well, you gotta go back into, I can't remember exactly where it is. There's a certain session, and you got to edit that part out of it.
Right.
And then or change the name, and then I guess repetitive. You have to change the name every time, but that's if you want to run that for your business. I say that's a lot of people ask, what about thank you notes? We'll do it right on the packing slip, whether you write it or you do it like you are asking about, having it done that way. It brings out the niceness. People see you're actually trying, you're thanking them, or there's the attitude of come back. You're not just saying thank you, hi. You're giving them an extra thank you by writing. So
right. Let's see. They said no where it says message to buyer's email. I'm trying to think where that is. So it's when you go to print your label or print your packing slip. I'm sorry, I'm not understanding. Maybe I'm just confused.
I think I'm a little bit confused because even Fueling for Delight says you can edit the next time you go to print a label. Lower left side of the page when you go to print a label.
Yes, the print label. Okay, so yeah, just what Fueling for the Light says. If I'm understanding, yeah, it's on the lower left side. You can edit it out. I don't know if you can. I've never messed with it, so I don't know if it keeps the last one, which it sounds like it must. You might, instead of changing it every time, you might just go with a blanket statement that says, you know, thank you for your business, or something to the effect where if it does keep adding it, that it's not something specific to that person. I hope we answered your question. I'm sorry if I didn't get that right.
And if we didn't, hopefully Fueling the Light got it right.
Yeah, exactly. So
we have another question from Parrot Picker, who we have to get a hold of because he said he would come on a Sunday night as a guest.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. We do need to get a hold of him when he works a weird shift or something, if I remember what he said.
Well, his question was, since we are referencing packing slips, do we all include packing slips for your items? Yes, because for whatever reason the package gets opened, whether it be because you're doing first class and it gets ripped open, maybe the item fell out, or maybe right I can't think of the packing slip and the label on the item itself might have got messed up. They may have to open it and say, okay, who's it going to? It's in the packing slip. It's answered. That way, if
go ahead.
As a business, if you're sending it to another business, they can always say, okay, this is what I paid for it, and it's good for their taxes too.
Right. I'm with Chris. On every one, I put in a packing slip. A lot of it is just to make sure that I put the right. When I print the packing slip, I make sure that I put it in with the correct item, just so I don't get confused on shipping, because I'll have 3 or 4 items to ship one day, and sometimes I'll forget. So with that packing slip, it actually helps me remember which one is going where, so I don't ship the wrong item. As well as, like he said, in business, if you have a packing slip on the outside of the box and on the inside, if anything on the outside gets damaged and they open it, they can still get it to your customer. That doesn't happen as often as it, but like I said, I always do, just because another thing is it also helps me double check and make sure that that I have the correct address. I look at the packing slip versus and my print label. So I don't think it's necessarily required, but I don't know. I always have, and I'm trying to think if I've ever. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, he came on back to say that he gets several requests not to include packing slips with his items. Does this seem common?
I've never heard of that. So I've never heard of anybody saying don't send anything.
Oh, the only time I think I've heard of that is if it's possibly an international sale.
Or maybe it's a gift.
Yeah.
If you don't want, because if you put a packing slip, it includes your prices. So if it was a gift or something, I guess I could understand that. But other than that, no, I've never heard of anybody asking to not put a packing slip in. But yeah, and people in the chat are echoing what we said about it being a gift and such. So very good. Crafty Caregiver showed up.
Yeah, she's been here in this first comment.
Yeah.
You never know, because some people are watching on their iPads and can't type, so they might go to their phone and say, I want to comment on this.
Right. Very understandable. So what was I going to say? Damn it. Well, I don't know. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, I was just going to say, to kind of go back to the beginning topic, because it's all tied into one, because like we said, buyers and sellers all have attitudes. Attitudes affect everything. So even when you're out in the real world instead of this online world, it's not different. Try treating the people the same. So if you're going to be a business person, not necessarily treat your friends like a business person, but I mean, if they ask you what you do, just say, I do this. I have a reseller. I sell online. Because I saw that, and I've had people where I play poker kind of look at me weird or laugh a little bit. I actually had one ask me if I would take some of his stuff in, because he had to do as much as estate. And I said, well, I'm having a hard time doing the items I already have, so I can't necessarily do that, or else I would, because I'm friends with him, and I told him if I did it, I would have to ask at least for 50%, because it would be my business having the fees, my business having the reputation, and stuff like that.
See, and I don't do that. I've had so many people ask me, hey, will you sell this stuff? I will not. I do 2 things. I say, I will show you how, or I will buy it from you, and sell it myself. And at that point, I also explain to them, if I buy it from you, it's going to be less than what you sell it for on eBay, because I've got to make money. There's got to be meat on the bone. So I do not consign. I do with my son, like my boy will do that. And that's a little different, because that's always going to be amicable. But for me, if it comes down to it, I will, somebody came to me and said, hey, I've got all these things. Well, if I give them to you, will you sell them? And I'll give you 50% of the money. And I just say, no, to keep things business and personal, because business and personal can always conflict sometimes. I would rather just buy these from you. If I'm interested in them, buy them from you, and then you get your money up front. There's no questions asked, and I can sell them on the back end. That's just the way I do it. I don't like mixing business and pleasure, because, those are money is a great divider.
Well, that's why I told him I couldn't do it. And if I had the money, I probably would have said, okay, bring me to your house, let me see what you have. But I'm not having the cash flow to do stuff like that. So I was trying to at least being diplomatic in it and saying, if I did it, I would have to ask at least 50. That way he could say, wait a minute, that's a little too, he might think that's 50% is too much. So that way.
Yeah. No, and I understand completely. And in some cases, like, I would just pass on those kind of things, unless I was really trying to help them out or something like that. But again, that's just my personal preference. I just don't like people, being in the business. I think you had to make an announcement.
Yes, I was going to do that.
I'm reminding you.
Right before I did these questions, and she says it's off topic, but for anybody watching that doesn't know, Berta Bell is going to be going into surgery tomorrow. She is going to be having the gastric bypass, or I think that's what it's called, or something to that effect. So if you want to give her some well wishes for tonight and tomorrow, please do. And with that, Mr. Sadie asks, off topic, but any good ways to get musty smell out of a wool hat? A Stetson worth saving.
What kind? I guess it depends on what kind of. I've a lot of the times when I get stuff that needs smells to get out, I just leave it out in the sunshine. And that gets a lot of it, depending on the smell. I mean, if it's like cigarette smoke, that sometimes is a little bit harder. But musty kind of stuff like that, I leave it in the sunshine and let the air kind of like air dry it. There are other things. I think baking soda is usually a pretty good musty deodorizer kind of thing. That's the only type of things I've had that have been kind of musty smelling. Those are the two things that I've done. I don't know if that works for a. Did you say it was a wool hat?
Yeah, you said it was a wool hat. It was a Stetson.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, that would be my my suggestion, but I don't know. So yeah, everybody give some prayers or whatever if nothing else, just kind thoughts to Berta for tomorrow, because we are one big happy family. So, well, maybe most of the time happy. I'm not sure who Uncle Touchy is in our family, but we'll try and stay away from him. But but we are a family, so anytime any one of us has a personal issue or in this case, the more good karma out there, I think the better for the group. So,
and we have a question from Henry for me.
Where are these questions? I'm
having to noticing they're so slow tonight. They're not popping like they usually do.
Oh,
we have it, I guess. So I'm seeing it. I'm pausing the comments on my side, so I don't have to copy and paste.
No, that's fine. I'm missing them.
Well, this one is. He says, "Hey, Walker Picker, is it hard for you not to be mad because of cerebral palsy?" No, okay. I'm like anybody else. The cerebral palsy does not affect my mood. You can ask the wife, you can ask Chad, you can ask Dwayne, you can ask Chris.
Oh no, don't ask me. He's on me.
Of what how I do things. The wife jokingly put it in the admin chat, one of those banging monkeys with the symbols. And so right. That's me when I get upset because I'm wanting to hit something. It's like I'm going like this in my hand. So.
Yeah. No, I don't think I've ever seen you. I mean, I've seen you, I guess, start to get upset, but I've never seen you actually mad. And I don't think it has anything to do with your disability, but I don't have that disability, so I wouldn't know.
No, that's why when I get to that point when I'm going to say something, or I try doing what I would want any other business person to do. I either walk away to cool off, or I bring somebody else in to try to either diffuse the situation or handle it all together and say, I'm done. Please handle it for me. I don't want to. There's times I said that I've asked other people to kick somebody else. Because right. I don't want to say, I don't want it to seem like it's a personal I want you guys to read what's being done, how it's being handled by me. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. If you agree with what I'm doing and how I'm handling it, and you think he's worth getting kids, and then if they say you want him gone, Chris, do it yourself, then I already know I got the backing of them looking it up and everything else.
Right. I think the truth's actually coming out in the chat here, Chris. Too many people know your wife, so Roxy says you're moody all the time. That's what Coco says. Mr. Sadie says Roxy will just give you a timeout. So, no. Yeah, Turtle Trader says people get angry, dogs get mad. Right?
And in regards to Coco, she's in the group, so she's seen where I've actually had the wife come in and back me up on certain things because I kind of like I said, I'm getting out of it. And then I had the wife come in with the more cooler head at the time.
Right. Well, and it is good to have an unbiased opinion come in and say, take a look at some situations and say, no, Chris, you're wrong, or whoever you're discussing with, that. But having an unbiased person sometimes, get the emotion out of it and make a logical choice, a logical decision based on the facts, not on emotion. So, yeah, see, Mr. Sadie has it right. If you can't get along with Chris, my God, you need help. That's for sure. He's a pretty easygoing guy. That's for sure.
Well, and it's ironic that Mr. Sadie said that because, and I'm not gonna use names, but certain admins have been asked by certain members of the groups of the resource site, particularly at this time, if they can block me without getting banned from the group. Because every time they make a comment, I'd say something, because a lot of their comments are what I would call stupid ones. So of course, I'm gonna call it like Cat always says. What about us content traders? If you're saying something stupid, you, the viewers, are gonna call us out on it.
Right.
So I'm doing the same thing as an admin and a member of the group. When somebody tells a Facebook group member on a post to leave, to get rid of Facebook and whatnot, of course I'm gonna ask them, then why are you in a Facebook group? Why are you on Facebook? You're telling everybody else that it's a time suck or just whatnot, and to leave the group or leave Facebook, why are you on it? If it's such a bad problem, you're saying what's bad, but yet you're using the same place to do it. If that makes sense. So I think that's kind of what got that person to go to admin, and I'm like, and then so I guess I told you somebody else before the show. I told you someone else over the weekend because of the issues that you didn't know about because you were away for 2 days. There was like I don't know how many posts about the DDoS stuff for the computers and the sites and whatnot. So I simply asked, have you read other posts that explain that there are attacks going on certain sites? I answered the question with a question asking if they've read other posts. That person took offense to that comment to the point where they thanked everybody else that said something and used my name in their thank as of saying I didn't answer it the way they wanted it. And that's kind of where I started going in, and I said, as an admin, and that's when I called the wife in, or I was going to bring somebody else in. I asked her first. I said, see if I'm doing anything wrong. And she came in and said, attacking an admin is not the right way to go. If you have a problem, go to the IM or go to a different admin and talk about the problem.
Right.
So.
Yep, exactly right. And that's basically that's where you got your idea for this the show being, with attitude, and how it's based on business as well as everything that we've been talking about tonight. So, hey, do we have any other questions in the chat? You guys are falling off on the questions.
Well, I answered Gail, make a comment to Gail's comment. She said, "I don't owe any explanations. It's your house, and you like to keep it clean and organized. No shame in that. Technically, it's not even my house. I'm one of the admins. I didn't even build it. So, and I have everybody knows that. If you don't know, I have the link, like we talked about in the description below, my own group. I'm 16 times less people in my group. Am I asking for all you guys to come over? No. Some people like the smaller groups, but because of what I've been putting out and how I am, the founders that started the group wanted me and others to come in as admins. So, and they asked us to promote the group. I was promoting most groups. So.
Right, and I believe that actually, what's going on there? That was weird. That it's not, and you don't treat it like your house. I mean, this is for everybody, and you, like you say, you make sure that you don't go off the handle, and you make sure that you're doing it right by asking somebody else. But in the same point, you don't want your job as a moderator is to keep the drama and the trolls and the people attacking people out. I mean, that's what the moderators are for, the admins, is to make sure that, that everybody has a good experience in the group. So,
yeah, we're the police, quote unquote. Like everybody says about eBay police when there's certain things they say, well, is it eBay police?
Well, kind of. I mean, there's always somebody out there moderating everything. I mean, otherwise, people would get out of hand. That's for sure. So.
Okay, yeah. Parenthood has a question, and this is always, not necessarily always, but it's a kind of what's the word I'm looking for?
Old wives' tale.
Conspiracy theorist. It means nothing. He's asking about the red door, blue door. It depends on what page you're on, really, what door you get, because you can have one color one time and switch to another page, or you can even refresh and sometimes get the different color. So it doesn't mean anything that we know of. So
right, and a lot of people talk about the red door and blue door as their way of laughing at conspiracy theories that, oh, my door is red, so I'm not going to be able to make any sales this month, but in true reality, nothing has ever been stated by eBay, or I've never heard of anybody that actually knows the difference, other than I did hear that it was probably at one point 2 different programmers, and they put 2 systems together. And like Chris said, when you're on the seller's page, it's red, and when you're on the something else, it's blue. So it really has no bearing, but it's comically the way to throw out the conspiracy theories and the eBay throttling and that kind of stuff. So
which we don't all necessarily believe in. Some people might, and so
right, exactly. Some people might, and I've made sales on whatever door.
The one Grumpy said, "Wow, I can give 2 thumbs up. I just did one from the smart TV. Nice." So thank you
well, yeah, well, thank you very much. Yeah, Swamp says he has a gold door. Hey, I'm thinking you're really knocking down the sales if you have a gold door. So
Idaho says, "Well, we need a white door then. Red, white, and blue."
Right.
Yeah, but that's hard to do in eBay's worldwide country now. Business now is not just eBay based, so it has to include all the other colors, so it become a rainbow.
Right. Parrothead said he's done some research on it. He's just curious on our take on it, so it's kind of a fun question. Yeah, it is. It is funny how people can correlate that their sales based on some insignificant little icon that has something to do with it. It's kind of funny sometimes.
Well, we are past the hour, so before we get any more questions, and we're not ending the show yet, not unless we're officially done, but I want to get the promotion in for at least next week. So I don't think we confirmed. Did we confirm for the 9th yet?
Which one's the 9th?
Well, this week it's going to be supposed to be well, they were confirmed was Vaughn and
Right. And
professionalism
then
for the closing.
right, and the next one was Drifty Thelma. That one's been locked in. The other one has not. I have not heard back.
I sent her okay. You told me to send Thrifty a message, and I haven't. I sent one, but I haven't heard back from her yet.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I wasn't sure how we were going to do the sending her the link to the show.
Right. Yeah, we need
to do it, but we weren't trying to.
Yeah, we need to finalize that though. She said she would. It's just getting the little details taken care of. So.
Yeah. So, and as you can guess by that, we're trying to get, like me and Sean were at one time, weeks to maybe months ahead of planners. That way, if something happens, we have somebody that we can use for a backup. So if you want to be on or have a topic you want to be on as a guest, work it into our schedule. Get a hold of Dwayne or I.
Yeah, absolutely. And that I was just going to say that before we even said this. If there's anything you guys would like to talk about, and whether you want to come on the show and talk about it, or you just want me and Chris to tackle it and give our opinions on it, let us know, because we're always trying to come up with topics that are relevant to everything tonight. So see, Thelma's just yeah. So we're always trying to do shows that are relevant to things that you guys want to talk about, or relevant to things that we've seen in the groups. So if you guys either want to be on the show or have a great topic that you want me and Chris to give our opinions on, get a hold of us, because that's what we're here for.
And remember, most guests, and I say most because that's what show was mostly guests anyway, was our show. Mm-hmm. If I have a guest on a Sunday, it's because of the scheduling. So we may switch shows that night, that week, like we've done with Ronnie and we did the other week. And I have reached out to Rebecca. She's back from her vacation. I don't know if she's coming back on the show or not. I asked her if she was going to come on tonight. She just got back, I guess, this weekend. So, and that was, I'm glad to have you here. I did respond to your message. We'll have to get back to each other somehow on Facebook, so we can work on for the night. So
that's a good. Glenn put in a topic that might be something we can work in for sure. Whether people buying things on their gut, not doing a lot of research.
Well, I'll hit on it now, but we'll save it for a show.
That's what I said. That's what I said. We'll a good topic for a show.
Save it for next week. So that could be one of our topics for next week.
Yep. See what I'm doing here, Chris? I'm writing it down, because otherwise I will forget.
Yeah, considering you told me how many weeks ago you had a topic you wanted to save for next week.
Hey, I'm getting old, man. I can't remember all this stuff.
And we have two questions if it's going to be an after show.
That's up to you, Chris. I mean, I could hang out for a few if you want.
Well, we'll do another show, but I was just going to see if there's any more questions, because I noticed our viewership's going down a little bit. We're not necessarily ending the show, but I just wanted to see if there's any more last-minute questions.
I think it's because Angie went to bed. She's our rock star, so as soon as she goes to bed, everybody's like, okay.
So,
Crafty Caregiver said that she bought a pen for 10 cents and sold it for 250. Bought a skirt for $1 and sold it for 61. Sometimes the gut is good. Save that for our next show, though, when we talk about that, then, because that'd be that is an interesting one, because I think that depends on your level of selling and what you know about an individual products. So good.
Let's just see. He says it's time for him to go watch Housewives of New Jersey. Oh, he means Alaskan Frontier. Well, let's just say the wife likes that show. She has it on Hulu, but they're not taking. They haven't done any of the new. I think they're up to season 7, and they haven't uploaded them. They only got season 4 or 5 up to on Hulu. So the wife's like, when are they going to add the next one? So she really wants to get back into that show.
Oh, very good. Very good. So, yep, Turtle Trader, you're exactly right. I do have CRS. As I've gotten older, I really It's amazing. I think it's just all the years you get, your brain fills up, and then that you try and put more in there, and there's nowhere for it to go. So,
oh, we got another topic for next Sunday.
What's that?
Going on grumpy, Barbara says, "How do you deal with a goodwill manager who knows what you do?" And then she says, "For the next show."
Okay, excellent.
So that's our two of our topics. So I'll figure out a good title for the show.
Right, and maybe we'll, yeah, absolutely, good manager who knows.
So, like I said, next on this Wednesday night, we are going to have Vaughn, I can't think of her YouTube channel now. Why can't I? The CRM program me.
Flipping Easy? No. Is it
yes,
Flipping Easy?
Vaughn Flipping Easy.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I was gonna have her on to talk about female clothing, but she also wanted to have Jason on Profit Sales. So we will be Profit Sales. So we were gonna have him on. So we'll just do a little bit of a combination of the clothing all together. So
sounds very good.
I haven't seen her in the chat yet today, so
Yvonne, I didn't see her in the chat either.
I'll reach out definitely to kind of make sure she remembers for Wednesday.
Yep. So, we'll definitely get a hold of her. So hey, thanks for those topics, for those two that came up. I'll do some we'll do some research and figure out opinions and schedule them in.
And if you have anybody watching it after the fact and has another idea, please just leave a comment or go to the links, get a hold of us on. I got my Facebook page in there. You can send me a message that way. You can send me a message if you're part of the groups, you already know who I am. So.
Oh, Drew's doing a shameless plug here. So he said he just dropped 2 new videos. Go check them out. I actually haven't watched any of your videos in a long time, Drew. Maybe I should go. I'm gonna write that down too, so I remember.
All right. Well, so you want to do we'll do a little bit of an after show for anybody that wants to come in. I know Will wanted to come in, and I know we already know who our first 2 are gonna be, most likely.
Yeah. We'll see if it stands the same.
And then I will send the link after into the group. So if you're part of the group and didn't see this, so I will see you guys. I won't be the only one seeing you guys Wednesday, but we'll see you Wednesday. And I will see you in the after show if you pop in.
All right. Hey, have a good evening, the rest of y'all. And like Chris said, we'll see you when we see you, unless you see us first.
Good night, everybody.
See you.